we have the Selkie hearing after the regular.
I mean, I don't have anything on my calendar. It doesn't mean I don't have anything, but.
Just let me know.
Okay.
I'll keep it open.
I'll ask Dwayne.
Between afterwards till noon, I'll leave it open, so that way if they want to come in.
Okay. That the hearings for 9, right? I think we scheduled that for 9. 9:30? Okay. 9:30.
Okay.
Maybe 11-ish. 10:30.
Nice, they changed the rule as long as you show your employee badge. If it's checked off, they just put you through. They don't even really check you anymore because everybody brings in thermoses and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, like the Stanley Cups and stuff. They sent out an email a while back that employees wouldn't have to get stopped up by the detector.
Did you?
We'll now call the August 5th, 2025 DeKalb County Drainage Board meeting to order. This is a informational meeting for the reconstruction of the Bohler regulated drain number 54-00-0. We'll start off with Glenn maybe giving us a little information on where we're at on it.
So this meeting is an informational meeting. This is not to decide are we doing the Bohler or not doing the Bohler. This is for everyone to come here, see the blueprints, see what the proposed plans are, have any suggestions, if they think we should go with a different tile size, a different route, or if they know of any other tiles that are tied into it that we should tie into or need to put any future tees anywhere for future tiling. We do have assessment scrolls up here for people that can take home. It shows the percentage of how much ground they own within the watershed. We do have a rough cost estimate, but we don't have it finalized because it's based off of how this meeting goes today. If there's any engineering changes we need to make, then that'll change the cost estimate. That'll all be sent out at a later date for the final hearing for the reconstruction. How do you guys just want to open it for questions?
You want to share kind of where we're at on the assessments right now?
Yeah.
Nobody's had a chance to see any of this, so give them an idea what we're looking at cost-wise, and maybe you can, there's not too much, you can update them on the track process and
what I might say is you can start out with the issues that you know that they're having out there and then maybe roll into that.
Yep, so anybody who lives in that watershed, which is all of you here present, are probably familiar with the flooding that has been occurring along the tile. It's gotten to a point, especially along County Road 45 and County Road 28 there, that intersection, that it's causing a safety hazard and flooding the road there. So it's gotten worse each year, and we can't allow it to get worse any further. So we have to find some solution to make it better, and what that is going to look like is what we're going to talk about. So that's one of the major concerns. And then as well along through some of the parcels along the drain, they flood and make some of that land unusable for desired uses. So we're seeking a solution to try to help those people out and want to include all the watershed in our discussion here. So what we're thinking and considering and proposing is installing new tile starting at the outlet. So down at the bottom there in that red portion will be 36-inch tile. That portion of the drain is a little bit more flat down there. So 36-inch tile is adequately sized to help carry that water and outlet. And then our next tile size we have there coming is orange, and that's going to be 24-inch running all the way up to County Road 28. So it's going to carry quite a bit of water through there. And it's going to go to that split that you see at County Road 28. Going to the east is a drain. It's currently called the J.W. Jackman drain that is in really poor condition and not functioning adequately. So that's looking to be reconstructed, and that pink is 10-inch tile that will run down that road. The yellow running north is 18-inch, and that's gonna go to the railroad. And as part of this project, we wanna cross that railroad to extend to the rest of the watershed, adequately serve everybody that's up there to the north end. So that would involve a jack and bore going under the tracks and under US 6. So those portions of the reconstruction, we would bill to the railroad and to NDOT because they're on top of our right-of-way. So they're causing the jack and bore. So that portion of it, which would be fairly expensive, would get billed to them for them to pay for their responsibility. On to the north, after we cross the tracks, we will go to 15-inch, and then it splits. We'll reroute that southern split right now. It kind of goes to the south, and it goes across that back lot of that parcel. We're gonna follow the property line. Again, that pink is signifying 10-inch tile. So we'll run to that wet spot in the field, and then we'll run 12-inch tile heading north, which will transition to 10-inch tile, and we'll end there at the current top end of the ore bowler at that wet spot. So that's what we currently have. That's utilizing all the watershed data on how much water it will be taking in and the water that we need to be able to transport to the outlet. So all of that, our cost estimate comes out to be $628,000 to be spread across the watershed. So the way it works is it comes out to a per acre rate that it then is distributed across the watershed. So there's no weighting or anything of that value. That's how the state of Indiana says that you have to bill out reconstruction. So it'll come at a per acre cost, and then determined by how many acres you own in the watershed would determine your bill. And now that's just an estimate, and that's a very rough estimate on what it could be and what it would look like. On a lot of those tiles, just the straight tile, we're pretty confident with all those numbers. Some of the other things would be the railroad permitting. That could change some. And then also on any structures or standpipes that would be placed along the system, which hopefully by discussing with landowners, we can get a better idea of maybe some drainage needs or who has some wants that we could help cover for the reconstruction. So again, as Glenn said, we made some assessment scrolls there. So on those scrolls, it says how many benefited acres you have on the far right and a percentage of the watershed that your parcel would be. Some of you own multiple parcels in there. So each parcel identification number will be split on lines in there so you can see how much each parcel you have is in the watershed. So not your whole parcel is assessed. It's only the part of your parcel that falls within the watershed. As you can see on the outskirts, some of them will split across the middle of parcels. It's only what is in the shaded blue part that is assessed, that acreage. That's a lot of the project outline. I mean, outside of that, we would be happy to talk more if anybody has any questions on it or anything like that. Board members, if I missed anything that you want me to cover.
So there's a total of 598.62 acres in this watershed.
Yes.
Should we offer, if anybody want to look at those right now? If anybody like to look at the assessments as what we have right now, feel free right now to come up and.
Yeah, you want me to walk around? Hopefully I made it enough. There's a lot of you. If each group maybe that's here together would take one, and then we can make sure everybody gets some. You have the assessment for property owners. No, the cost is not on there. The cost is not on there, no, not yet. Now, come time for a hearing, that would all be on the assessment scroll, everybody would know. And you would get a notice of what your estimated amount would be, all the. How many?
598.
And Glenn, what did your estimate on this is?
About 1,000 an acre.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you think you're pretty close on it?
Other than, we got the jack and bore costs aren't in there yet, so.
So the jack and bore is about 300, but a lot of that will get billed right back. The only thing we might have to eat in some of that is like the permitting and the engineering costs.
Do you have that on there?
Yeah.
Permitting?
Yeah, we got about 30 grand to get the railroad, and it's like 37 grand for the,
Either stop this discussion or, because she needs it for the record. And those were good questions that they might want to hear. Answers.
Yeah. Tyler, hand those out and we'll have this discussion.
We just need to have it on the record.
Glenn, if you want to explain a little more on the total cost estimate, you know, how solid that is right now and what, make sure everybody's clear on that.
so right now, our cost estimate is, you know, depending on how much gets changed from this hearing, is about $1,000 an acre. And the Jack and Bore alone is roughly 300,000, but the railroad and NDOT would pay most of that back. So the main cost to the watershed for that would be in some permitting and engineering fees. But, I mean, right now, is the way this sits, I mean, with it, we have a 10%, you know, contingency on top of that 628, so the project is around 690, that'd be just over 1,000 an acre. If it goes for 628, it'd be around 900, maybe 950, somewhere in there, but, I mean, this is based off of all new tile quotes, fitting quotes. The only thing that might be subject to change would be some of the labor and any additional fittings or manholes or standpipes, like we discussed.
That 628 would be at the 1,049.
Yeah,
And 10% over is going to be about 1153.
1153, yeah.
If you would, stand at the podium, state your name and address and who you're with.
I'm Bud Krager, 4184 County Road 38, Auburn. My question is, what did I say?
The old tile.
The old tile.
So if it's plastic, we have an estimated 10 dumpsters to remove all plastic tile. All clay tile will be put back in the backfill.
Will that go back in about the same area then as where
Yeah.
the old one is?
We're, with the exception of up here on the north side of 6, we're really planning on following the original routing because that's the natural low spot. So, you know, it makes sense to put it there where the water collects, not up a side of a hill. So we'll be really following the original path with the exception of that 10-inch lateral up here.
We can also pick up any laterals that come in to that main, if they follow the main.
Mm-hmm. What do you do when you go through this wooded area? Are you guys gonna use solid tile in there, or how's that work so we don't get any problems down the road?
It'll be solid tile, and then we brush and clear to about 40 feet on either side.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions they'd present?
Tim High, County Road 45, Waterloo. So I've got an acre pond on my 5-acre property, and the water sheds to my pond. So will I be assessed the value to replace this tile when 4 acres of my ground goes to my pond, and then there's no overflow pipe, so it don't go over the bank? So how do you figure this in?
Yeah, you will be assessed.
That'll be changed up for the...
No, you'll be assessed the full amount of acreage you have.
The full amount, whether the water sheds to this county tile or not, is how you're gonna do it.
Correct, yeah.
So wouldn't there be an outlet that they would use eventually to
Yeah.
outlet the pond?
Where's the,
Yeah.
You said there's not.
where's the pond at?
My pond, it never overflows the bank, so I didn't have to put an overflow pipe on it.
You were there, Troy.
I'm on
Yep, right there.
3034 County Road 45.
I think it's right there, right? Mr. High, is that right?
Is this your,
Yeah?
Yeah,
think
right
so.
there, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
let
And then I
It
own
might be the
5
one-
acres behind it, it's on hold addition, which the watershed's to the west.
I think it's that one to the north, actually, Troy.
Okay. They're just making the flow lines easier to see.
And I don't know if it shows the pond, but the pond's on the south side of the house.
Yeah, so he's at north parcel. So those yellow
Yeah,
lines
okay,
we just
there.
put on the screen there, those are called overlay and flow lines. So that's just, like, if you spill some water there, what direction it's
That's
gonna
where it would
flow.
go, right.
Yep, so a lot of those lines, as you can see, end up flowing towards the Orbola. I see what you're saying about maybe around some of your residents there, it goes into your pond, right?
Yeah, it comes from the granary and comes where it floods, is flooded right now, or somewhat now, it's pretty dry, but that will come my way, but then it goes on west past my property. It don't actually go on my property, but
Yep.
I just was wondering how I'd be assessed since my drainage drains to my pond and it don't drain to the west or, towards the county tile.
Yeah, so going off of the LiDAR data, which is what we have to use, as rain falls, right? It's gonna go a direction. These lines show the concentration point where that rainwater goes. So your pond may absorb water up to a certain point. And at which point, if you don't have an overflow, it's going to overflow, right? And according to our LiDAR data, it would eventually follow this path down.
Leaches through the ground
tile.
and goes that direction is what you're
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
So,
And that's per Indiana State Drainage Code.
all right. So everybody's gonna get assessed the same amount of cost, no matter if they got a 3-acre pond that their land drains to or whatever is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because eventually that water goes somewhere.
I'm Les Worsler, County Road 290341. My question is where was you gonna start the 36-inch pipe? Because through my property and Chris Wattswood's property, it was just replaced nearly 10 years ago with 24-inch, and there's a stand-up on each ends of the property. I've just checked them in the last couple days. That water runs through there perfect. I mean perfect. If we had that rain this last spring, nearly 5 inches, we did get water down in there for about 24 hours, and it just sucks right down like it's gone. In 24 hours, it's gone. So my point is where are you gonna go across Don Smith's ground with 36-inch, and where are you gonna stop with the 24? I mean, would mine have to be even redone, because it works great. And it was backfilled, me and Chris's properties was backfilled by the Cliffords with big number 2s. So it acts like a French drain, the entire strip. My point is, why do we need to pay out more tax dollars with a section that's already proven and working perfect? I've got it on my cell phone, I took videos of it. That ground right there is working great. Now, I know across Don, that's 18-inch to the open drain. Then another thing I was just looking at as I was coming here tonight, where it dumps into that open ditch, you're only talking 1.5 feet from the very bottom of that ditch where it's dumping. 3 inches of rain, that open ditch will swell. So it's gonna naturally back up for how many days, because it's so deep into the ditch. What's your solution to get the fall, when it's already at the bottom of the ditch right now?
Well, larger tile's gonna help with that. That's one of the reasons we want 36-inch down there. I understand it's looks like it's flowing well, and you said it goes down within 24 hours. There's a lot of it up above it, though, that is not getting away. And so that needs to be 36-inch to allow all the rest of that water to flow down the system. And it will also help us with grade. We can run 36-inch tile flatter.
You need to run 36 even through me and Chris's property?
That's at the very bottom end of the system there, yeah.
Because it's really,
Because you just replaced another 24-inch. I just measured it off last night, 200 feet. It's almost to Bill Tucker's property right now that you just did 2 months ago. So
Right,
I'm all for to pick it up from Bill Tucker's ground and take it east. Why replace something that's already been done and it's working? I mean, that's just using taxpayers' money up that's tile that's working.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. You usually don't really want to redo tile on top of something that is not good at the bottom end, right? You want to start from the bottom and work your way up. I wouldn't want to spend all that money on a reconstruction to then leave tile down at the bottom that everything's going to be relying on.
How many feet do you believe have been replaced?
It's 24 inch from the stand up on the west side
Zoom in there, Troy.
of the road, which is 41, okay? From there, it's 24 inch, now all the way back to getting close to Bill Tucker's property. It's all 24 inch tile.
So anything west of 41, has it been redone?
That was 18 inch across Don Smith's.
West of 41?
Yes, yes. And I was by this tonight and it's dumping out of there like 60. I mean, it's flowing out of there good. But the problem is, I'm saying, it's only a foot or two from the bottom of the open ditch. So once that gets 3 inches of rain, that thing is swelled up. So your water's gonna naturally back up, even if you too put a great big tile in there.
But you're saying this is 18 inch here, and there's 24 inch here. So you have 24 inch going into a smaller pipe.
You do. So
So
I'm
you're
all
gonna have
for to bump
blowouts and
up
all
Don
kinds of
Smith's,
problems.
you know.
Yeah.
If you gotta bump it, start there and go up 36 inch, but why do we need to tear it up across me and Chris's ground when that was done very superbly? I mean, they backfilled, I can't tell you how many loads and loads of number twos on top of that 24 inch tile. I mean, it acts like such a good French drain, it's ridiculous.
How many feet do you think you're talking though? They did 200
Three.
this spring.
I'd say, well, now that you just added another 200 feet,
Where am I going here?
what's in French drain across me and Chris's is a good 400 feet.
I could like to comment
Yes, Bill.
on that 24 inch. As you saw this spring, we had a lot of water standing upstream. With that 24 in there, when we improve the rest of that ditch upstream, there's going to be a lot more water coming out of that 24. At that point, that 24 probably not handle that. And that's one of the reasons it's got to go to 36. We're not talking the same volume of water now as will be when that new ditch is reconstructed. A lot more water.
Can you show us where that 24 is? Show us exactly where the 20, how much, give us a good idea how much 24. If you can, where it starts, where it finishes?
The 24 starts on the stand-up, right on the edge of 41. On the other side, be the west side of my road. There's a stand-up down along Don Smith's. That's where the 24 starts. And now they just picked up another 200 feet, which goes pretty close to Bill Tucker's. So we go on, 24 goes, the other stand-up is right on the corner of Clint Stevens. And I just checked that just last night, and the water's running through it great. Then I went down and checked on Don Smith's stand-up, and it's running through there fine.
Is everything on 28?
Pardon me?
Is everything on 28 drained?
Yeah,
Everything out by the elevators drained and dry? No issues? How many feet we thinking?
I say there's probably between across my property and Chris's, it's well over 450 feet. That's all French drained. That's 24 inch. Well, you know, they even went, like I said, underneath, they tore the road up. They tore up 41 and they put the 24 even underneath of it and come out there at the stand-up on the west side.
So if we zoom in on that, can you tell us on the east side of it where you think the 24 ends, roughly?
You can walk up to the map and,
Yeah, you can point right at it.
Here, you're saying property names.
There it is.
So that's built over on the east side there. You keep saying it's going to build.
well, they did repair some holes back here, but
We replaced several holes back into there earlier this year.
Here's the open ditch, right?
yep,
This is all Don Smith's.
yep, here's 43.
Anyways, the 24 inch starts right here, right at the edge of the road, goes underneath. So I'm assuming this would be all me and Chris's. Right there's Clint Stevens, there's another stand up right there. So this entire strip is 24 inch, and it's all done in French drain. I mean, I'm talking big number twos, and they filled it up. The real heavy rain we had this last spring, we did have water down there, but it will not last over 24 hours. It'll just suck right down and it's gone. We don't have no water. I just checked both these stand-ups yesterday. Water's running good, but like I said, right here, that's only like a foot and a half from the bottom of that creek where it's coming out.
Was the water over that exit when that big rain hit? When you're saying this drained out rather quickly, was that underwater at that time or above water?
We had water standing, pretty good thing of it for under 24 hours. Don Smith had just a few areas across here, in this little spot right here that had little water standing, but it went faster.
Yeah, my question is, was this underwater in the open ditch?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So how did this drain out if that was underwater?
that's a good question.
Head pressure.
It will only last, I'm telling you, it only will last 24 hours.
If this is in there correctly at an angle, it will drain even though the end of the tile is covered. As long as it's angled downstream, it will still run water out of that.
Even though it's at the bottom of the ditch.
Yeah.
My concern is, I believe Tucker's had issues this spring.
Yeah, I talked with Bill, senior.
And, you know, and up on 28, that's been, bad as it's ever been. You're not getting very much.
I'm totally on board to pick it up where, you know, if you pick up where they just put it in 2 months ago, it's fresh dirt, but it's 24-inch tile, it went 200 feet, that's probably right over in here.
Approved? Is that approved?
The county put it in?
Earlier this
I
year?
don't know the contractors that,
Yeah, we,
Tucker can tell you.
we
Yep,
did.
there were several big holes back there, and I think some of those holes were caused from there's two tiles in the ground. There's an older, old system. And then there's another system that's also not working super great. But, it was hard to tell which system caused the holes. I think it was actually caused by the old one. But we got in there and then the new one had some, collapsed tiles, so they
It is.
replaced,
It's all clay and it's
Yep.
been collapsing,
Yep.
there's several big holes.
replaced it with
I
plastic,
walked it
yep.
with Bill just before they come in and fixed it.
Part of the other thing to answer your question too, with this being flat across here, I think it's from 41 to 43, I could pull up the profile and show you, but it goes up almost 20 feet.
Just right here where this natural water shed is, we have like,
It flooded pretty bad this past spring out there, yeah,
so this has been going on for over 15 years.
yeah.
And I can recollect back talking to the engineers back in that time, said that this tile through this section right here drops. It's not at the right elevation. That's why you're having backup on Rocky's ground. Here, it's dropping. Are you gonna have to put a lift station? Get it up, move it?
No, we have fall through there.
Yeah, there's from,
That's what was brought up back there over 15 years ago.
Well, hopefully it drops left, because that's good.
I mean, it has a swale.
Well, we'll bring that up.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be taken out. Yeah. They won't follow that drop. It'll be on grade the whole way.
Because from 45 to 43, I believe, it's like 20 or 25 feet of fall. I mean, it goes uphill fast towards the granary. So there's the issue is, this has to be almost like a 0.1%. I mean, it's literally flat. And to do that and carry the volume of water we need to carry for 600 acres, it has to be a fairly substantial tile. Then,
Through my section, that tile's every bit 8 foot down in the ground.
then on top of that, then this section of 24, because of that steep slope, so it's not 20 feet deep at the top here, is running at like a 4% slope. So it's, you know, it's down a steep grade. And so this doesn't blow out here when it reaches that flat spot. It's got to be able to move that water, and that's the reason for the size of the tile and stuff is just hydraulics. I mean,
my understanding that from the open ditch, County Road 41, that straight section there is only 18 inch?
18 inch.
Currently.
I think there's two side by side.
There is, yeah, 2 outlet pipes shoved together.
The old and the new?
No. I was there when they put all that in. That has an old one, it does. But that ain't hardly even flowing nothing.
Correct.
That's got a new 18-inch tile going across Don Smith's ground. At that stand-up, they changed it to 24 across me and Chris's ground.
So I just asked my field inspectors. They said that was 18 that they installed going to Tucker's. It was 18-inch tile through there.
It's 24.
Okay.
It matches mine. I checked it all out before they even buried it.
Okay.
200 feet they just replaced.
Letting us know.
Anybody else like to ask questions or address the board? Feel free.
That gentleman is saying, but there's a lot more water coming through that pipe, is going to be coming through that pipe, not what's there today. I mean, if we get everything up and running and it drains, I mean, it might be taking care of it today, but it's not gonna take care of the means down the road.
State your name, address you're with.
My name's Stan Smith. I live on County Road 45. And you got me down here at 7.71 acres that runs towards Bohlers. And 75% that I know of, just the one field on my side, runs to Walt Smith's ditch, which is running east, down into my woods on the east side of 45. And then it runs over to Coomer's ditch. So I want to disagree on the 7.71.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we can take a look at it. Is that your residence to the right there, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, with a big barn. Yep.
Turn that back on, Troy, though.
Yep, right there.
And it said,
There ain't no way. You
had how much in it?
all runs south and east from my house. From you may get a little bit where, but on top of that hill, it all runs to the east, to Walt Smith's ditch.
Okay. So is there any part of that blue there on your parcel that, so to the west of your residence there that you're saying doesn't flow that way? Or, because it shows to the south of your residence there, it does flow east, just like you're saying. Yep, it's only the portion in the blue.
only the shaded portion is what you would be assessed for. And our LiDAR data shows it going that way. So this, right here where the shading stops is the boundary of the watershed, and this line here And these lines all flow to the east, as you said, but right across, angling right across the property here, all of this goes that way, according to our LiDAR data.
That's not 7 acres.
I agree. Yeah, measure that out real quick, Troy.
Just say,
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
what's it?
I see what you're saying there about that's not 7 acres, yeah.
The 7.7 is actually my house and everything on the west side of 45.
Okay.
And that's not,
What was your name again, sir?
Stan Smith.
Stan Smith, okay.
Anybody else like to address when we're checking those acres?
It's in alphabetical order.
Any other questions? Yep. Come up to the podium, please. State your name, address, who you're with.
Chris Swathwood, County Road 2925, County Road 41. The only part of our property taxes go to maintain this ditch.
Not property.
No, we don't get any part of the property tax. So there's a drain maintenance
Yeah.
that will be assessed out. So you may see that on some of yours, which probably the Ore Bowlers had a lot of work lately. So we've probably been collecting it almost every year. So that is on there. That amount that we collect for that is just to try to maintain the drain. Now, we can use 75% of that towards the reconstruction cost. But unfortunately, there's not much in the Ore Bowler account because it's just continuous work on it. So whatever we have collected, we can use for maintenance, but there's just not hardly anything there. What was it, Troy?
Currently, there's like $9,600 in the maintenance fund.
Yeah.
So 75% of that could be put towards the construction, which on a $600,000 project.
Yeah, I don't know, there's just a lot
Like
of
a $20
taxpayers
bill,
here
you
that
know.
Yeah.
pay into that, so I
You want
wasn't
to
sure.
explain to them like what they see for the assessment on your tax?
That's the
bill?
assessment part that goes towards this
Yes,
ditch maintenance fund.
Yeah, so down at the bottom of your property tax, it says other assessments, and that's where drain maintenance shows up, or any like city liens or anything like that for like people that don't mow the yard or whatever. But, yeah, those show up down there. Typically, as far as maintenance goes, we have to have a public hearing to set a rate. That rate is typically, it's done as like a base rate, so like agricultural is maybe $5 an acre. Then residential is usually double that, so $10 an acre, and commercial would be triple, $15 an acre. And then state law allows us, we can only collect and hold 4 years of maintenance collections on the books. So if a drain this size only collects, say, $2,500 a year, we would only have, $10,000 to work with until we spend some of that money, then we can collect it again. So it's kind of just a ongoing revolving account that we collect some, we use some, we collect some, and just hold it. Now, as inflation and everything else, some of these drains haven't been adjusted since like the 60s. So part of, usually when we do a reconstruction hearing, then we will make a rate adjustment for maintenance so that going forward we have better funds, especially on these larger systems. We have some, not quite this big, but we have some that collect like $1,000 a year. You can't get a guy with a mini excavator out there for a day for that much. Right. So
I will clarify, what the surveyor's office is proposing is a reconstruction project, which is a major change to the drain. It's either upsizing tile, changing the route, all of that. That is what they're proposing, which is why the cost is so high. And Troy just explained to you the yearly maintenance that is usually assessed to the same watershed, but that's just for minor repair. Like they were saying, there was a couple tile blowouts, so you just go in quick and do a small fix to do that. But the reason why this cost is much higher than the maintenance rate would be because they're trying to basically reconstruct this whole system so that hopefully you won't have a lot of maintenance for years. There might be a little bit of collection just in case, some emergency happens, but the reconstruction process also is that you have 5 years to pay it back. And unfortunately, the Indiana Drainage Code sets a 10% interest. It's nothing this board has control over, but it's a 10% interest that would be assessed to any unpaid as you go through those 5 years.
After the first year.
After the first year, yeah. So it's a little bit different than regular maintenance, and I don't know, that's helpful to know the difference.
Explain that timeline once again, when the collections start and when it's due.
Go ahead, Troy, if you want.
Yeah, so typically when we complete a project, we go through and audit all the claims and do a final tally of the bill. Then we put that into the assessment scroll and, we divided up that cost by the total acreage to get our per acre dollar value. And then we apply it to the assessment scroll, so it's just simply multiplying your benefited acreage times the cost per acre that the final bill is. We bring that to the board, they do a certification of the assessment, then we take it to the treasurer's office and the other office there, auditor's office, and they attach it to your property tax bill on the following tax statement. So if this year's already came out, they wouldn't even put it on till next year, and then you have 5 years to pay it back. So a lot of times it takes us 6 years to reclaim the funds from a project, before we have that money in our pool to do another project.
Real quick before you go, hey Stan, I looked at the assessment scroll. So you were looking at your property acreage, which is why you said it matches what you guys own. Further to the right, it says Bakers at the top. It's benefited acres on your assessment scroll. If you look further to the right on your row, and it says 2.66 and it says 1.06. That's your amount of acreage that's within that watershed. Right on the right. Yep. And then right beside that is your percentage of the watershed. Oh, nice.
So right here is the acres, this is your benefited acreage, and then that's the percentage of that parcel in the water. So, here, yeah, so if you have, like your property acreage might be 40 acres, and like you only have 2.86, so you're 0.4 of water. I got it.
All right, Michael and Terry Richardson on County Road 28. When you go through with the drain, how far away should we expect to have work being done away from the center line of the drain?
So we have 75 feet on either side. So we have to stay within that. Sometimes we'll use all of it, sometimes we won't. We might only be 40 feet on either side.
Several years ago, you came through and worked on our property, and there were some large gouges, dirt piles, and supposedly you were going to come back and level it out, which never happened. So when we do the job this time, is it going to be leveled out?
Yeah.
Probably it's not going to be a big mess left? Okay. The other question, back in our woods, it floods on a regular basis. And you said something about a drain. Jake? Some old drain?
The Jackman drain?
Yeah. Is that on our property off 28? Because there is a drain back there. It's like, you can see a sinkhole.
Let me get the watershed and stuff off of here so we can see it better.
Where's your property at?
4516, County Road 28.
40?
Yeah, we've got 3 parcels.
Okay. 2516.
We're right there. I think you're on it, right, Troy? Is that it with the pond in the front yard there?
That's
okay.
it. Yep.
So behind your house is the Bohler.
And it's
Okay, so over on this area.
Look, it's very possible.
Right there.
Yep, on that east side of 45, it's pretty wet in that little wooded part.
Yes.
So it's very possible there could be a private lateral from before that ties into our Bohler and it runs over there, and it could be getting suck holes on it. That would be my assumption.
So after this work, will that help that situation?
Yes. It should, yes, because the ore bowler will actually be functioning.
Right.
You may have to replace that lateral because it's private. If you replace it before we go through there, we'll be more than happy to tie it in while we're doing it. All laterals that we come across, we'll retie into the system to give them a proper outlet. That's the whole idea of why we're involved in all this, because we want it to be a working outlet for everybody within that watershed so they can utilize it if they need to. So, yes, it would help. You may have to run another private tile over there, unfortunately, but you would have a good outlet that way to help carry your water somewhere other than your woods.
All right, thank you.
How long have you owned that property? I mean, history,
The original property, 30 years, I believe,
so did you have troubles with,
1999, yeah.
standing water along 45?
What's that?
You have trouble with standing water 45 the whole time, or?
I think it's been about, have we had standing water the whole time? No, I mean, over the years, has it gotten worse? It's gotten worse, yeah.
Was it ever dry in that 30 years, 29?
I don't think it was ever dry.
Dry at times, but fully dry.
Yes.
Would it drain?
It dries out after a week. It always dries out after a week.
I think there's a road for it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Well, there might be a culvert, I mean, but they wouldn't run a tile through the drain, it would be private.
Yep, go ahead, state your name, who you're with.
Jim Shop, 2989 County Road 43. I guess I got a couple questions. The interest that you're charging, the 10%, will that be considered property taxes and deductible?
Good question for our attorney.
I'm not a tax attorney, no, I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
Good question.
Because that's,
Have any of the farmers on the board had this come up?
This is off the record, but yeah, we take them off our taxes.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I was gonna say, I believe so.
The record show.
It's a couple of bucks, so.
That one way or another.
We've heard-
If it's permissible under IRS rules, yes, absolutely.
And going back to the amount of water coming out of the creek there at 41, we've lived in our house since 86 on 43. And I don't, yeah, there are two tiles coming through, one's higher, one's lower. The lower one works, the top one does not. It's dead. But I've never seen the lower one more than half full. Can somebody explain to me why, if I've got all this back pressure and hydraulics, that I'm not shooting out like a fire hose? Because I've seen tiles shooting out like a fire hose, and that ain't it.
If it was working, it probably would, and that's the
Yeah.
problem. Majority of it is not working. And that's like the gentleman earlier was explaining how it's going down in 24 hours. Well, what's above it is not going down in 24 hours.
You know, when we first moved in, our property's next to Bob Brainbridge, and we had a perpetual swamp. And since probably 1992, well, 2010, we started this. So yeah, before 2010, you went through and you rotor-rooted everything out. It doesn't stand anymore. It stands for 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. There's 5 inches of rain, it was up for 3 days. But we had 5 inches of rain for 3 days all over the county, and it was standing up. I don't understand why Bungie's ground does not drain. Because that's upstream. My tile, I could take a look at, I've got a piddling come through, but the ground is still wet up at the Bungie's ground on both those fields.
That's kind of what we were trying to say earlier too. If we don't upsize that,
It's not, the water isn't getting to it. There's something wrong.
Right.
that's what we're gonna fix.
Now, do you need to fix that pink tile and leave the rest of us alone?
Fix what tile?
That pink,
This Jackman lateral here. Well, and see, and that's part of the issue is,
yeah, because you've got this tile right here that drains Bungie's ground. This area, and this area. I will have hardly, because there's a standpipe back on my property right here. I'm not seeing any water hardly at all come through there.
right.
And we're still standing water. This tells me that this tile is our issue.
And if we fix this tile, your standpipe could become a fountain. So that's that's why we try to do the whole project, because, you know, if it's all rooted up through here and we fix the problem here, all it's gonna do is come down here and hit a wall.
I'm questioning a 36-inch tile. If there's almost no water flow out of an 18 currently, what velocity are you going to get a 36-inch tile? It's going to look like a urine stream. It's going to be 2 or 3 inches across the bottom of a tile. You're going to plug it up. You're just going to have silt falling out.
It will only be 24 inch.
No, you said it was 36 to...
At the bottom.
At the bottom.
He's talking at the bottom.
Again,
Yeah.
your velocity coming through is not going to be enough to carry the silt.
So on those
That's why
tiles,
we upsized it, because we always want to maintain 2 feet per second.
Well, at a 36-inch coming down through for 500 feet over to 41? Because that's what you're saying. When you go back over, that's what your map was saying, that you had a 36 tile over, to actually 43 from tile to County Road 43.
Where the 36-inch tile is,
From the creek,
it's running at a 0.09% slope
okay?
because of how flat the ground is there.
Understand it's flat, yeah. There's, the topographical, there's almost no fall.
I'm only getting 3 cubic feet per second flow rate. I have to keep it above 2 or sediment will drop out and it'll fill with mud.
Right.
So if I change that to 24, I only get 2.34, which could work, but there again, we're adding a lot more water and a lot more velocity from, let me go back to the map, from 43 to 45. If I look here, I'm going up to a 0.5 slope. You know, so I'm over that span between the 2 county roads, I'm going up like 25 feet in elevation. So, and we're essentially following the contour to maintain a relatively even depth for digging. So by the time I get to the top end of the hill, I'm not 25 feet deep, I'm only like 8.5 feet deep, right? So that water then is coming down at a much higher velocity, and it needs that tile's capacity to be able to go.
You're talking, would you go back to your drainage map, please?
Sure.
The tile. Where your tile comes down, and you blow that up a little bit, I want to see 43.
Yeah, so here's 43, here's 45.
Okay. At this point, right there, the tile is 4.5 feet underground.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 20 feet, you're 4.5 feet. Right there.
Sure.
So I don't know where you're coming up with a 20-foot fall at unless you take the hills, because, again, in going through, and I just put 1,000-foot of tile in and I had it shot, it's not that deep. And going all the way over to the creek at 41, you are right, it's just about dead level.
Yeah.
It is going all the way from 41 past 43 to 45. It might go up a little bit at Woods at 45, but you're not saying, I don't know where your 20 feet's coming from.
So
he's just saying
yes.
if going the opposite direction, if we kept running at that pretty flat slope, that's how deep we'd be going up.
So-
But we don't want to be that deep. He's not saying that's how deep the tile.
No, just like the ground level starting out at the outlet is roughly at 880 feet.
Okay.
By the time I get up to, let's go to like sheet 4 here, which I think is close to County Road 45. I'm now up ground level. I'm up 10 feet and I'm still not there yet. I want to find one of the road crossings is what I'd like. There we go. 45. So yeah. Slide over. Yeah, so I'm at like 892, 893, somewhere around there. When I started at 880, and it's still going uphill as I go towards
To the east.
well, as I go towards the railroad tracks, it keeps going up. So
Which mystifies me why bungee ground doesn't drain. You're right, the water sits across 28,
Mm-hmm.
but everything around it's dry.
Upstream, it's obviously a big issue from where you're at.
Yeah,
And when we fix that issue, that water's gonna be all over in your property.
35 years, I haven't seen it. We've been at this since 2010. And we did it again, reviewed in 2017. And they rotor-rooted and they put new tile in and they put new plastic in. And I think the bungee ground is worse now than it's been in the last 10 years. That ground never used to sit wet. It is worse now.
Anyone else like to address the board? Bill Tucker, at 4292 County Road 28. Yeah, I agree with everything everybody said. I mean, they've all lived here. We've all lived here forever, and we know what we see. The only thing that I want to add to that is behind our property, behind my property and my dad's, every time it rains, we get flooded. It just comes down, and we just put in some new terraces and some tiles. They were great, but the water's got nowhere to go. It can't get away. So the terraces fill up, they run over the top. I get more blowholes out on my property down in the low ground. And we've got one of our fields on County Road 43, just south of Larry Smith's. We get a ton of water off of Larry Smith that comes onto our field. There's tiles in there, and I don't know if they work or not. It doesn't matter. We got so much water that comes into that field. We can't hardly farm it anymore. Larry Coomer farms it, and that field of corn he'll get 30% what he should. And we can't do anything with it. I mean, there's a lot of water that we want to get rid of that we can't because this tile's not fixed yet. And so every time we get a good rain, all that low ground floods. Mine goes away usually within less than a week. But Dad's can be flooded for 3 weeks. And it just doesn't go anywhere. And that's in between 41 and 43. South of 28. Yes. And they're right. You guys have come in and replaced tile. I can't tell you how many times they've run the roto-rooter up through there. Can't find anything wrong with it, but it just doesn't work. And it hasn't worked for a long time. And it is getting worse. And I'm sure that's why the water up on Rocky Squires around Bungie and all that doesn't drain either. But I agree. You start to get that to flow a little bit. There's a lot of water that needs to go out, and we don't have enough tile. So that's my opinion. I'm going to put that out there, but yeah, it's not just what is actually going into it now. There's a lot more water that needs to go into that. And I'm sure if we had a good tile, there'd be a lot more water that does go into that. So, is there anybody here that's on the north side of the tracks that can give us an idea of how that's been draining?
Yeah, I have on the north side tracks. We got 2 farms up there. We virtually can't farm probably 6 acres up there. It's gotten worse over the years. When I bought the farm, it was fine. The whole tile, if you want to back up a little bit, does anybody know what year it was put in?
Not off the top of my head.
And where I'm going with that?
Long time ago. 1876 or something, maybe?
First one, I think, was in
1876. You guys saw that year recently?
We're asking this tile to do so much more than it was ever designed for. I mean, all these people's built houses, they're welcome to build them out in the country. We got watershed that we never had when that tile was put in there. We got a grain elevator, we got paved roads. The system wasn't designed for what it's doing, what we're asking it to do. And then my experience with clay tile over the years, if it's a 15 or an 18 or a 24, when we fix these blowouts, there's chunks that's went down them. They're tipped up somewhere in that tile, and they got it restricted. They're next to impossible to find unless you're on a camera down it. We have taken on projects this large before, and it's remarkable the change you can have if it's engineered properly. I'm confident you guys are on that. In 2010, when we started this project, a 24-inch tile was $13.78 a foot. Today, it's $20.99 a foot. 52% increase since the last time we talked about it. I run right down the line. I got 49, 42, 51. Stoner up 68%. So sometime we got to make a decision. I'm fairly confident you're on the right track. Another number I looked up, since 2016, not counting what we've done this spring, we spent $55,742 on that drain. Sometime we got to replace it. That's where I'm standing with it.
Anybody else? No more questions? Feel free, if you do, leave this meeting and come up with some, contact the surveyor's office, and they'll be more than happy to answer your questions and go over it, if, any other concerns you have. And that's what this whole meeting's about, is try to head these off before we get to the process and make sure we're making the right decision for everybody in the watershed. Anybody on the board have any input? Steve, Shannon, Becky? Bill, anything? Nothing? Yes.
Time frame as far as your general fund to be able to swing the deal and the engineering, what would you look at if it gets approved? I'm talking after the hearing. I know it'll take a long time here to have a hearing, but can the general fund do the project?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
And if anybody has, if they think of any other private tiles or laterals or has any future tiling projects,
Want standpipes or structures?
feel free to reach out. In the next 2 weeks would be ideal, as we are going to finish the design and try to get some final numbers put to it.
Surveyor's office good?
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I was really appreciative of everybody showing up. Look forward to working with you more.
Yep, thank you very much. If there are no objections, this meeting will stand adjourned. If there are no objections, this meeting is adjourned.
I don't want to go home.